tell you that. That's totally lack of patience.
So if you still didn't develop your spirit all the way yet. You can't be a street player at the same time you can't do it. There's no way you're on a level of impossible elders. You know? And then you try to figure out there's got to be something else more. Like, you don't even know everything yet. You still got other things you got to go over again to get more understanding. And you got to build up, the spiritual growth. You still got to put money in that spiritual bank account.
Bro, he's still in the wicked society. So what did he? You're still trapped in his body. You didn't get this flesh. You didn't get the glory of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You're still dealing with the living water, and we don't know. We know what we know what the scriptures taught us. Yes, but when we get the ultimate download, I like to say, you're gonna have a new body. You're gonna live forever. A new mind, new body, and you're gonna live forever. You're never gonna die again. And you worry about a flat earth.
Right. Yeah. You bringing in a different doctrine into
the
faith.
Heresy
isn't going to make that's not conducive to your spiritual development. Bringing in different doctrines. And now women can come into the camp and sit on a lawn chair. You can bring your wife to camp today. Everybody wear the same uniform.
Right, and the thing of it is, if you're listening to this right now and you know that you are offending in that area, don't get mad. Just change the behavior. It's that simple, bro. We're not out here to be trying to assassinate characters. We have a sense of integrity. We're saying this because we see that it's not compliant with the scriptures. It's not a standard that you want to have. It's not a mentality you want to have. Okay? You care about your family. You got them out here in the battlefield with all bunch of spirits getting riled up because the truth coming out. It's not like it's all discretionary when you're out here on the battlefield. You going one-on-one out here with these spirits. Against the elements. It's not. You're not being as discretionary as you would when you're just walking in your everyday. So they had no business being out here, man. We the soldiers, not them.
Yeah, you gotta separate yourself from that. Give me a lot.
So it's just as a means of correction. It's literally a labor of love. It's not because we just don't like you, so we point, we see that, we just gonna point it out. No, it's because we have a desire to see things the right way. And see, brothers misinterpret that, and they just, man, hell with them guys. Why we don't listen to them? They're a bunch of bums anyway, man. They just don't bum. See, they make excuses to justify the wicked behavior instead of giving it some consideration what we're saying. Wait a minute, is what I'm doing in the scriptures, is according to the Most High? And the same thing goes to us. Like when we put out a standard pursuant to the precept, we're looking at ourselves first. Well, let me not say this. At least I'd be offended in that area. We correct ourselves first, and then we minister. That way it should be done.
I'm right beside that guy was off us.
To our best of our ability, of course.
Because we out here. That's what we out. We want the Lord, the blood. That's what it's about. His blood that he shed for us. And he ain't shed for everybody. You know? He did it for Pacific people, and that's that. He said it himself. Okay? And he narrowed it down within that people. The elect. The 1/3. 144,000 men. Now he excluded 2/3 out of that batch. So what are you gonna do with that? Huh? So you know what you want to be a part of the 2/3 or the 1/3? Because in that 2/3, I'm gonna say that he's killing babies too. He's killing your grandmother, killing your girlfriend, and it's gonna be a serious. The scripture speaks about that. And last his day is great. All right.
It's just a little bit more. It says, Sirach chapter 2 and 13. It's got a couple more verses. We can pretty much read right through it. Self-explanatory. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. We were talking about that earlier.
Right, yeah, if you don't have the word in you, the Lord's not going to defend you in that day. Okay, you might not believe what you're saying now because it's still comfortable. But when the time comes when you're uncomfortable, then you're more willing to believe. Right? So it's better to get the knowledge down, get the information down, so you know, so you can get your life together. So when the scourge comes through, you'll be protected.
Right. Woe unto you that have lost patience in what when the Lord shall visit you.
Right, what are they going to do? They're going to be scrambling for the truth. Right, they'll be scrambling to figure out what they got to do. So they'll be protected by their guardian angel. Right? But if you do that now, you ain't going to have to scramble later.
Right? They're not going to be found without that dua.
Work now, so you got to work super hard later.
Well, because you might not be afforded that chance. That's the whole thing about the mercy right now. Because the truth is available to you. Where you can get it. And hold fast that which thou hast. Because that's going to be the difference. That's going to distinguish you from the sheep and the goats. Okay?
And the wild means exempt from judgment in Hebrew. Right?
Yep.
I just want to throw that out there because you ain't going to be exempt from judgment because no judge holds you. And those demons are going to jump on his people, all hell breaks. And that great insurrection is going to
So he had said he had a question, but I want you to finish your point.
yeah, that was good. Oh, it's okay.
The prophecies in Genesis 49. That's one of the main scriptures we determined that. It's very scriptures.
Yeah, Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 28, because you got to also understand that the curses that fell upon our people were also a distinguishing mark to determine who the Israelites are in these latter times. Because the curses that befell each and every one of these tribes only fits one nation of people, and that's our people. That's why one precept that we go to, that we favor so much, that kind of concludes the point. It's not the be-all, but Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Okay? Now, brother can get it, we can quote it, but just to answer your question, based upon, like the brother already said, the prophecies, and then also the curses, because that was also a distinguishing factor. Also, the Apocrypha, when you go into the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it talks about the journey of the 10 tribes over to this side of the world. It literally tells you how they came over here, namely a year and a half. How they went, they entered into the river Euphrates, they came around the Horn, all right, and exactly came to another land named Arsareth, all right? So the scriptures actually outline how each one of the tribes got to this side of the world and what would happen to them in the latter days and in the in-between.
I wondered if you could elaborate more on your question. Like, what do you mean? How do we determine it? Who's who? All right, what's your nationality? Should I ask? You know your nationality? I can't hear you. You're a Negro? From the tribe of Judah, your father's a Negro, right? Oh, you don't know your father. So that's how you determine your nationality. Through the lineage, through the loins you come from. Okay? Now your father's determines who you are.
Well, get Job 8 and 8. Let's get Job 8 and 8. And that's a good one. And then we can just get the quick precept. Y'all want to get Deuteronomy 28, 68? Yeah, well, that's another one I was thinking of. For what? You want to bring that out too? But get Job 8
This is Ayawaba, Job chapter 8 and 8. And it reads, For inquire, I pray thee, for the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
Right, because like the brother was breaking down was your forefathers determines your bloodline, your tribe, your family line. So we know that we are these people, okay, based upon, like we said, prophecies, but each of them had sons, all right? So we all, if we're an Israelite, have to go back to one of these 12, all right? And depending on who your father is, like my father is a so-called Puerto Rican, so I understand that the Puerto Ricans and the things that befell them as a nation fall in line with what happened to the tribe of Ephraim, or Al-Payarm in the Hebrew, which means I am fruitful, to the so-called Puerto Ricans today, okay? So we know pursuant to that, that's who I would be. Now, what is this faith? Because we don't have the records. Like, you can't go to Ancestry.com and get an accurate, detailed, specific as to where or what tribe you came from. Because Esau, first of all, he don't deal like that, okay? And there's no accurate test to test the flesh when the spirit in you is a particular descendant, if you're an Israelite of one of these tribes anyways. Except for the truth. That's the only thing that's really determined. And if that, you know, it's really about the elect.
And like I say, and it also say the spirit bears witness with you. Okay, all right, beautiful. Bring it out.
Romans 8 and 16. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
that's how you know. But read it again, brother.
Romans 8:16 says the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit.
The Spirit itself bears witness to spirit. You stop and you look, you know, and this very decisive part of our ministry.
I'm gonna make it plain and plain. The spirit that dwells in your mind that gives you the ability to comprehend, to see the function, is listening to the spirit of the word. Which the spirit, when it says the spirit, is talking about the truth. John 6:63. So if any of this is resonating with you, not only are you an Israelite, you might even be a potential member of the Lord's elect. Like I said, this is what this is all about.
Because we're fishing for the ultimate elect.
Yeah.
Right now, that's what we out here. We're not out here for our own well-doing. Oh, we're out. We want our well-doing to be taken care of. We want to get out of here too. That's why we're doing this. But we also fishing. So we're fishers of men. Okay.
So now, if you want to get the curse, to give the brother a little bit more clarity, because we gave you the spiritual aspect. So I know most of our people, they trying to find the physical evidence. Because we gave you the spiritual evidence, we giving you the spiritual evidence, but now they need the history. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually written, because the Bible, it's a prophetic book first and foremost, but it's also
bring
history,
the cameras closer. Like y'all gonna come up. Like bring them.
It's like brother,
You want to do it? You want to bring it up? Bring it up.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. It reads, "And the Lord."
Tazapah, what sign you got up? Tazapah, what sign do you have up?
Come up, walk up.
No, we got to get the slavery sign. Look in the bag. So the brother got an illustration to the precept.
At the
All right, you continue to read, brother.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. It reads, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with
It
ships."
says the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, but this time with ships. Now, Egypt is a Greek word that means bondage or slavery. Now, there's no record of us after we were led through the Red Sea out of Egypt that we actually returned there in captivity. Okay? There's no record of it. So this is talking about a different Egypt. Hold that and get Revelation chapter 11. Brother should already know what I want.
I'm going to say this too. Egypt, we walked out
There you go.
So they can
We're not taking no ships. Okay? Beautiful point. No, that's it. That's
We
it.
walked out with Moses. If you know the story with Moses, we walked out to Egypt with our people.
So start from the top again, brother, and then I want someone to hold Revelation 11. Okay, hold that a second. Start from the top. Read slow. Baba Shah.
This is
Roll loud.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. It reads, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships."
We're going to go into slavery or bondage again, but this time via slave ships. Now, the most notable slavery that ever took place in URC, that's that spirit bearing witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Because that only happened to one nation of people. And you could take it back 4 to 1600s. You can get into it how, first of all, the Edomites, the so-called Jews, were the ones financing, they were the financiers of these cargo slave ships that had our people on them in significant number to the where they have a term called tight packing, all right? Which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's where they were stacking bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies, where we were literally in a state of pissing and shitting on each other, all right, to the point of death, all right? They throwing us overboard, first of all, for sport. It wasn't even because we were just dying, all right? And there were great rebellions on these ships too, keeping it in the perspective.
And I may say too, the movie Roots.
Oh, I'ma stop.
If you look up
He was surely taught.
Roots. So look up Roots.
Yeah.
Amistad. Okay.
and they were shitting and pissing.
Yeah, drunk.
They were shitting and pissing themselves.
12 years a slave. Gives you the conditions of what our people went through. There's no, I don't care if you want to have a so-called rational debate on there being slavery, okay, throughout the entire earth. No slavery, no condition of slavery was so prominent on our people, okay, compared to whatever rational argument you may want to come up with. This was a very significant time period, very significant event, all right? And it's the most historic as well as horrific slavery that ever took place. And it talks about how terrible, out of all the tribes, Judah got it the worst. And you look at the things that was done on Judah, it's incomparable to what happened to anybody else on the planet. And that's biblical prophecy. I just want the brother to continue to read, okay?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way
slave ships.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Shall not see our homeland again, right? But we're waiting for that great deliverance where we can go back to that land of milk and honey that was promised unto us by our forefathers, by the Most High. Because right now it's polluted with a bunch of damn gutter rats. You got the Palestinians on one side, which is a mixture of Ishmael and Elam, which they don't have no rights to the land. And our people are not Arabs, nor are they East Indians. And then you got the so-called Jews, or the Edomites, the Amalekites, okay, in the land, all right? And under the 1948 Balfour Declaration, they signed the rights of the land over to themselves, which that's how they so-called got back in the land. Well, that proves that they ain't the Lord's people, because the Lord said we weren't going to sign no damn documentation to get into the land. It was going to be a great deliverance that was going to take place. And at the same time, we're going to have all our enemies in subjection. As you can clearly see, that has not happened yet.
And the whole world is going to be transformed to a paradise. None of that happened yet.
One of the major things that we like to point out concerning Israel right now is they're a fucking welfare state, excuse my French. They have to import, man. That's right. They need military support. When we in our kingdom, we're gonna be gods. We ain't gonna need no military support. We ain't gonna be importing trees. That land's so cursed right now, with the inhabitants that's living there, they need to put plants in there, man, from other places. So that land is totally cursed. So we weren't going to see our homeland no more. All right? And sure as hell wasn't going to be in that condition as it once was. We waiting for it to go back to that. That's why we got to wait on the Lord. Continue. I know the brothers got precepts. I'm going to let you get it in. I just want to finish this up.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
There you will where? Just hold that and get me. You already know what I want, man. Where in the places of John water.
Judges 5.
All right?
This is Judges chapter 5 and verse 11. It reads,
Just real quick.
they that are delivered from the noise of the archers.
Right, because ultimately we're hoping for that salvation from the nuclear missiles. Go ahead.
In the places of drawing water.
That's something that we were doing in slavery, right? We were drawing the water, right? Why? To water the crops, all right? Whether it be our people that were in the islands harvesting sugar cane or the cotton fields, that's something that we did, all right? We went to draw water. So the main places that we served slavery is North, South, and Central America. So you asked the question of how we know that those people are the Israelites, because all of these individuals served captivity under the same enemy, which is Esau, which is the so-called white man's biblical nationality. Right? His tribe, his nation is that of Edom or Esau. Okay? And he put all that captivity. While that was going on with Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which is the southern kingdom, you had individuals. Well, but no. But listen, while that was going on, okay, you had Gad over here that was being oppressed. They were being put, okay, in these different schools where they were making the Native Americans, the Mennonites, conform, okay, to their traditions, okay, to their religion.
Stealing their gold,
right.
Silver, the natural resources.
And
that happened to the Northern Kingdom.
And even before the 1600s, during the late 1400s, okay, when you had individuals like Amerigo Vespucci, you know, of course you know had Christopher Columbus, but Amerigo Vespucci and all those things that actually made it to North America, okay, they were over here persecuting Israel, and they were using, I'm sure you're probably familiar with the Willie Lynch letter. Well, Willie Lynch letter, a lot of the taxes that Willie Lynch wrote about in his book, they were already using on the Northern Kingdom.
Right, no, the so-called Native Americans, using
separating the families, turning the woman against the husband. Okay?
Dividing the different tribes.
Right.
A lot of them letting them
Exactly.
go to war with each other.
So-
Kill each other off.
So read that, the place of drawing water, that represents where we served our slavery. That's particularly here in America. But you got to remember, our people are scattered. And when Esau came into power, he virtually took over the whole earth. So wherever our people are scattered, where this Edomite is ruling, okay, our people are in hardcore bondage. Okay? It's not even just a physical slavery anymore, as you can see. At this point, it's a mental slavery. Okay? They got to our minds. They told us that he was God. The brother mentioned the movie Roots, excuse me, and what was going on during that movie. What was happening to Kunta? Master was whooping his ass, telling him that his new name was Toby. So everything that we knew about us being Israelites and that linked us back to who we were as being the Most High's people, wasn't it our people swinging songs, swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home? That was a song, okay, of desperation to be saved, because our future is that salvation. That's recorded in the scriptures. That's how you know another indicator that we are the children of the Most High. We're the Israelites. We're crying out to our Father for salvation. And we always did that. That was a trend amongst Israel. We'd go off, we'd break the laws, the Lord would send a nation upon us to whoop our ass, put us in hardcore slavery, and then we cry unto the Heavenly Father, Abba, save us. All right? So that's a continuing trend, man, when you go into the history of Israel. And it's the same today. Go ahead.
They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water,
Somebody line up Joel.
there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel.
You see these brothers standing up upon their feet again? It's because the breath of life entered back into us. You see us keeping the garments, all right, with the fringes and the border of blue. This represents the keeping of the commandments, right? So we've been given the law, statutes, and commandments again to where we're getting right with our power, which really happened because Yahweh Shai died for us. When it talks about that, all right, the Lord died, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life, that is specifically talking about the Israelites. It's not talking about all nations on the planet. It's talking about the world of Israel, because we're known as a world in the scriptures. All right? But I don't want to go too far. I want to just stick to the topic of these are the ways that we know we are the Israelites, man. Okay? Now go back, finish what you got in Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the brother got the book of Joel. What do you got? Something quick? Oh, you got it too. Okay, this is great. But go ahead, finish Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And I know we have the Babylon and Timbuktu. Because I know we got that on deck. We have lots of information, man. So you know you're serious about this, you got to be taking at least mental notes before.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
This is Baruch.
You can break it down.
All right, this is Baruch chapter 4, verse 6. Ye were sold to the nations, not Salakia.
Get Exodus 21 and 16.
Baruch chapter 4, verse 6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath.
Somebody get Isaiah 42 and 15 real quick.
Sorry.
No, go and break it down a while.
That's another clear indication of why we all fucked up in the game. All right, that's a clear indication why we jacked up as a nation. You don't know your nationality. You don't know what the hell you say. If you know where you came from, you know where you're going.
That's it.
You don't know what you're doing now. That's
You
why.
know your past, you know your future.
That's right. So we know our future now through the scriptures. In the book, right? This tells everybody's nationality. This don't talk about in the Quran. You don't find everybody's nationality.
Hell no.
In the book of the book of the dead.
That speaks for itself. That speaks for itself. The Book of the Dead. What type of understanding you get out of a book entitled The Book of the Dead? Come on, man.
Yeah, there's no lineage in those books. This is everybody's lineage in this book. This is where everything is at. And another thing that if you look at their books, you show them the Apocrypha. This is another clear indication. You read the Apocrypha, because they always say the Apocrypha is not part of the book. In this book, you got the Apocrypha wrapped up in it.
That's it.
And they tell you